Support for Radio Friends comes from Homestead Senior Care, providing trustworthy, kind-hearted senior home care services in your loved one's home. All caregivers are thoroughly screened, extensively trained, professional, and reliable. Homestead is all about providing the highest quality home care service to fit you and your family's needs. Plus, if you would be interested in becoming a caregiver, they offer great part-time positions. Give them a call at 573-442-4333 or check it out at homestead.com. Good morning and welcome to Radio Friends on Thursday, October the 4th. Nanette Ward is with us today. Central Missouri Stop Human Trafficking Coalition. Good to have you here, Nanette.
Thank you, Paul.
And we want to get into this because you've got a lot of events that you want to talk about.
Yeah, 3 different events in October, and all of them will help raise awareness if people are still struggling with what is this thing called human trafficking, exploitation of people in labor and sexual services right here in mid-Missouri. I encourage you to come. We have our monthly meeting this evening at 6 o'clock to 7:30 in Parkade Center right here in Columbia. Go to the lower level in the chairman's boardroom. We're going to be talking about the demand side of this crime of human trafficking. You know, if there were no demand, there would not be a need for traffickers to get a supply of people to exploit in forced labor and commercial sexual exploitation.
I know you talk about this all the time, but Nanette, I still can't get it into my head that there is a demand here in Central Missouri.
Well, so we know there are people who, for a very long time, in our culture, in our country, in our community as well, purchase people for the purposes of sex.
Here in Central Missouri.
Prostitution, escort business, pornography, strip clubs, massage parlors. Those are all considered commercial sex industry, and there is a high demand. There are people, whether college students or a dad at home who, gets out, and maybe family knows where he's going. Yes, there are people that we may go to church with or work with or live next door to, and there are people in our community who are driving the supply by traffickers to recruit and exploit because there is a demand in the commercial sex industry. So
I know we've given the signs to look for, but again.
Yes.
Go over that.
Well, let me give you a couple of examples, and I'll try to keep it general. We don't want to give identity. But last week and just 2 weeks ago, we had survivors come into our services. One of them is in her mid-30s. And she had been with a guy since she was in her early 20s. They knew each other in high school, so there was a familiarity and a trust. And
for 15, 20 years.
Yeah. So they got together, and she was in her early 20s, but in her mid 20s is when this so-called boyfriend sort of flipped a switch. And this is very typical. So-called boyfriend will lure a female in, could oftentimes younger. So you have a 20-something with luring a 16-something, and it's always cool to have an older boyfriend. In her case, she was in her early 20s and her mid-20s. He flipped the switch and started forcing her to be sold for sex. And she also had...
Forcing her?
Yes.
Now, how can you force someone?
You say you beat them, or you say, I'm going to hurt the people that you know. She had a child, not with her, but they make all kinds of threats, and the fear is really real. And they have entrapped you in that relationship to where you're dependent on them. Before then, they say, well, I'm going to put you out if you don't do this, and they have nowhere to go. They're isolated from family because a trafficker will do many things to isolate them. At first, it will seem like, oh, I'm the only one that loves you, and then it will be like, don't be talking to anybody else. or give me that phone. I want to see who you're talking to. Or, it becomes more threatening. And so the control over a person, and then that isolation to where they don't know who they can trust or where to go to. And they're dependent on that individual who's their so-called boyfriend.
Stop right there. What if somebody right now listening to us or watching us is in a situation like that?
In a situation
what do they do?
Where they're being asked to do things they don't really want to do, they should reach out in some way or another. The coalition, oftentimes people are on social media. You can send a private message to the coalition on Facebook. You can call the tip line for the Attorney General's office, and I know that's sometimes hard, but if you can get away, you can make a call. It's 844-487-8492.
Okay, 844
487 0492.
0492.
That's right here in Missouri. It's the Missouri Attorney General's tip line, and they will follow up. But if you're in danger, it's very, very difficult. So I don't want to assume that they can just call and say, hey, help, because they're in danger of being beaten if there's any indication that they've tried to reach out or called somebody that the trafficker doesn't know. But there's no doubt in my mind that every day in many places, in homes, in the motels, in strip clubs, and massage parlors, there are women who are in this situation. And also drugs are heavily involved.
Okay.
They could be forced to use drugs. They could get addicted to drugs. They could be offered sort of in the beginning just for fun, but then the trafficker has the intent of getting them more and more dependent on it, and so if you want more drugs, then you better do this, and they're stuck.
We're almost out of time. You had a couple other events you want to mention?
So come to...
Got a minute.
Yeah, okay. Well, come to October 4th, 6 to 7:30 p.m. and understand the demand side. There will be a survivor of trafficking speaking.
That's going to be where?
In Parkade Center. But October 20th, we have 2 events, and they're in Fulton. The meeting we have every month is here in Columbia. Go to Fulton, October 20th. Go to our website. Go to our Facebook page. But there will be an educational program called Human Trafficking in My Hometown. Again, survivors sharing their story. It'll be from 11 to 1.
That'll be in Fulton on what day?
On the 20th, on Saturday. But at 2 o'clock, there will be a freedom walk so people can get engaged with the community, do a 5K walk that will help raise awareness and funds for the coalition, and that's also in Fulton. Go to our Facebook page, the coalition's Facebook page, and you will see all the details. But we just encourage people to get out. It is so real, very, very real.
Okay. In the very short time that we have left, I want you to...
our website?
The website, yeah.
And phone number.
And phone number. The phone number is?
866-590-5959.
Okay, and the main warning sign, the most typical warning sign for somebody to look for if they suspect
If you see a friend or someone you know that seems to be under somebody else's control, a male, an older male, that should concern you. Anyone that seems to be under the control and have less freedom to make calls or be with you, if it's someone you know, be cautious.
Now we talk about women being...
Boys and men are trafficked as well, absolutely.
Boys and men are trafficked as well?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Nanette Ward, thank you so much for coming by. You always kind of leave me exhausted after I talk to you because it's such an emotional thing.
It is.
But I appreciate what you're doing.
And people can make a difference.
Okay. Thank you so much. Tomorrow, we're going to find out about the Center for Missouri Studies in Mid-Missouri Quilt of Valor. Bye-bye.